Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of How the Hell Is This My Life? I am your host, Kiki Carroll.
And I'm your host, Asha Brown.
Because going forward, this is permanent right here. So, welcome, Asha, permanently to How the Hell Is This My Life, the podcast. It's a busy week. First and foremost, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Right? Look, read my shirt.
What a time to be alive.
I am playing with nobody. Mm-hmm. And also, because you were just on the Zoom, we celebrated today, even though his birthday is on Wednesday, Liam's birthday, because I'm old enough to have a 2-year-old. I don't know what's happening, but that's where we're at. And because of coronavirus, Tyler birthdays aren't a thing. So it was the fastest birthday party I've ever thrown. It was like 10 minutes. It was awesome. I forgot to take all pictures, which is when I remembered why I like the in-person birthday parties.
Did you record the Zoom?
Nope. I did not record the Zoom. I did not get a picture of my baby blowing out his candle, so we're going to have to do it again tomorrow. And no, failures left and right. Mom failures left and right. But he was happy. So I have a happy almost 2-year-old. And I feel shame. That's where we're at.
He actually did a really good job with the cupcake, though. He was like very focused. He was
very like, ooh, fire. We're like, let's get that part over quickly. And then, yeah. And then when it got to the crumbs and it was just the rubble, then he was like, oh, let's turn it into like powder.
It's innovation.
He's a creative kid. He's a creator. He's artistic. He's a thespian, He comes with the drama. Mm-hmm. He really does. So it's going to be an interesting year. Terrible twos, here we come. That's where we're at. But yeah, so that's what today is. It's Monday. Yeah, but no, let's get into it. Let's just get into it because we got a lot to talk about. We always got a lot to talk about.
We do. Busy, full lives, I'm not mad at it.
I think it's something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
COVID to actually have something to do.
Yeah.
So that's
at
the
times
positive.
Too much.
That's the silver lining.
Yeah.
That's the positive silver lining. Mm-hmm. So for people who are new to the podcast, Asha and I are both engaged. We are both getting married. We are both each other's maid of honors. And my wedding is in May and her wedding is in June.
Yeah.
Because that's how we roll. So let's just kick it off with that. It's going to be a busy next couple of months. We got a lot to do. So we're going to keep everybody tuned in with all the shenanigans, including the ones that we just had. So tell them what we did.
Well, since the turn of the year, now that it is 2021, I am officially stressed with a SK. We're gonna just, new word. I'm gonna coin that one. I'm stressed. But I feel like all of a sudden, like the momentum has like really started. And I think the first thing that needed to be done was like, all the bridesmaids need jobs. Y'all all need to be employed. Everybody, jobs. And so, but also everybody needs dresses. So I put our lovely Bethany on the job to get the bridesmaids dresses ordered.
She was on it.
She actually just texted me and is like, everyone has ordered dresses. And I'm like, yes. And I didn't have to do it. It's just so great. But yeah, it was a lot of fun yesterday. Three of you and then me, which I got thrown into the party late, but that was still fun. Went to get fitted for some bridesmaids dresses, and I'm super excited because that color is going to be bomb.
Yeah, so like
Dresses.
Tell the people that we have to get our dresses now before the end of January, because the color that you picked is a color that nobody picks. And so it has to be handmade. And like, it is the truest sense of made to order. So we're not even getting our dresses. They told us the date when we checked out. They were like, yeah, May 10th.
But here's the thing is that my dress, my wedding, my bridal gown is not going to get here until May either. So it's like, I think I'm too extra for the people manufacturing and shipping these items. But I mean, like, I just feel like that color though, it looks good on everybody. I didn't want to put people in no foolishness, you know?
No, I think the color is going to look good on everybody. I think the silhouette is going to look good on everybody because everybody has a different body type. And you saw, I was having a good time. I never knew that I liked that kind of, I don't want to give too much away, but I know that like there was some stuff on your Instagram, but I'm just saying like inside this dress, so it's an off the shoulder, like sweetheart situation. It's very give them this. And there's this little like scrunchy. There's like a little scrunchy band. And it was the first time, and maybe I'm late to the party. It's the first time I put on one of those cut tops, dresses, anything. And it wasn't like falling down or riding up or cutting my arm off or anything. So, I mean, I was moving. I was ready. So I'm really excited because in all honesty, when you showed me the dress, I loved it all, but I was like, I don't know. I rarely do off the shoulder. Like, you know, that's your thing. And I was like, I don't know, but I don't think it's made for me, but guess what? David said it was.
I personally feel like an off the shoulder look could work for everybody. And that's why I chose that dress because I'm like,
yeah,
you know, I have some bridesmaids who are very, very
blessed,
well endowed, blessed, you know, touched by the Lord, okay, on the upper regions. And I feel like if you even when that's the case, like it just I love an off the shoulder man. It just accentuates what needs to be accentuated, and then comes in at the waist. And you know me, I'm all about the no waist, honey. Yes, please give me.
I did love like the pleating of the dress. You know, it's kind of inevitable. Like there was a little corset boning situation happening, but it's almost inevitable that it gives everybody that kind of like Dorothy Dandridge, like Marilyn Monroe, like what you think of like the waist to hip ratio. Like even if you don't have hips, even if you don't have a waist, it's like literally like,
yeah.
It was really good. It was really good.
It was really good. It was exciting. It was a nice little surprise for me. I mean, originally I just wanted to spend time with y'all. I didn't actually realize that was what you guys were going to do until I asked, like, what's everybody doing? I was like, oh, perfect.
No, it was fun. And I have to tell you, I am so glad that you like it's done. Our dresses are ordered. It's from David's Bridal. Like, you know, they've been around forever. And yeah, like even though it may take a little bit longer because of the color, like we're still gonna have plenty of time. The dress works on everybody because as you know, when we were leaving, we were walking in, you know, Flatiron. I didn't realize at the moment that we were in that area of town. I honestly didn't. And I think that you said it right as my eye caught it, where you were like, keep looking forward, because out of my peripheral on the opposite side of the street was Bride side. And it's empty, hollow walls. It's completely empty storefront. And I haven't really talked about this a lot. And I think it's because I was waiting for like just the book to be closed. And there was so many things that basically that shop took down with me. It went down in flames, and then it was like, Kiana, come down with us. Like, get on in here. And I didn't want to go. But no, it was really because the concept was great. I don't know if anybody had seen this in the news. If you're a coronavirus bride, maybe you have because you're like paying attention to the knot or whatever. It was actually in the Wall Street Journal too, though. But they are, I would assume, on the verge of bankruptcy. they haven't actually filed for bankruptcy, but Brightside very abruptly closed their doors, stopped responding to all emails, all phone calls, furloughed, AKA fired all of their employees. We reached out to a few of the employees and they hadn't even been paid for the time that they had worked. And my dress, which I had already paid for in full, they said they didn't have, and so they couldn't send it to me. They said it was supposed to be sent to me, which was just like the icing on the cake, because if my dress was nowhere near completion, that would have been one thing, but my dress was due to be delivered to me 6 days prior to them shutting down. So essentially what I found out after the fact is that my dress had been delivered when I was still in communication with them, but they sat on it because them giving it to me triggers that they owe payment to the manufacturer, and they didn't have that money to give. I don't know what they did with my money. They decided that they weren't going to give me my dress. So I actually had to call my bank and dispute a very large sum that had been paid all the way back in June. And I started that process in November, and thank the Lord above that last Friday, they said, you know what, we're going to give you your money back, girl, because you didn't get that wedding dress. And a lot of people asked me if I was going to reorder it. And I mean, I wanted to, but I have severe PTSD from this now, that like that dress in particular, what's going to happen to it again? Is there going to be something else that slows it up? I actually, at the moment, did not have the funds to buy a second wedding dress while I was waiting for the first wedding dress's money to be returned to my account. And it was going to take all the way until the end of April for me to get that dress with no hitches, no hiccups. And I couldn't commit to that. So I went the ready to ship individual sample route, and I found this website called The Last Minute Bride, and it's actually in Ohio.
Oh wow.
The state came through for me for one thing. Like they got it right, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I got it from there, and it was a sample gown. It was one size bigger than my size, so I knew I was gonna have to get it altered, but it was the only dress I've seen since the first one that I even felt anything about. And then when I got it, which, let me just shout out to The Last Minute Bride, because I got an email when I placed the order. I got an email when you packaged the order and hadn't even sent it yet. I got an email when you sent it. I got an email when I received it. Did you receive it? I was like, that's the kind of communication that a bride deserves.
Yeah.
I would rather have too much communication than radio silence. That's not what a bride needs. They're stressed as is, and this is how you turn a perfectly normal human being into a bridezilla. But great communication. The dress came, it was exactly as described. And then when I tried it on, I was like her more, I think, than lady number one. So, I mean, she's a keeper. We have a dress. That whole debacle is done. All the bridesmaids, some of them were affected because all y'all had gone there to kind of like figure out what you were going to be wearing. But all the bridesmaids have their dresses and are good. And so I felt like once I got the money back, it was like, all right, that's done.
Yeah.
We can talk about it now because it's not going to make you cry.
Yeah, that was a situation, and I just am blown away at the fact that like a business can do that. I mean, I guess if you don't plan on running a business anymore, then I guess it makes sense where like you can fall off the face of the earth because like you don't really care what customers think of you because your business is no longer. But just like have a heart, like this is such an important moment in so many people's lives, so many women's lives, and like you are literally just like throwing the biggest wrench in it, and wedding dresses take a second to come. Like going back to my dress, like we found the dress, ordered the dress at the end of October, and even at the end of October they said that the shipping, like the dress is not going to come until May. I'm like, y'all can't do that to people. Just be out
there. Like they were like, you need to kind of move on this. You're coming into like the kill zone Like, you need to move on this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not worried at all about the whole Haley Page lawsuit slowing
I'm
production.
not worried as much as that, whatever that means. I'm I'm not one of those people who have the ability to just like turn off worry. So like
Yeah.
I am, you know me, I'm paranoid, I worry, and I plan for the worst situation that could possibly happen. I'm trying to keep a level head because there's so many other things that need to be taken care of, and I can't let my thoughts take me away with that. But like it seems to me, because I still follow the page on Instagram, just both Kleinfeld and the Haley Page. And it's first of all, they did that girl dirty. And I think it's really kind of messed up that like I'm looking at her page and like I get that the name is like the line is the name of the line, but it's like you're posting things and it's like on the story and I'm reading it and I'm just like, this is so like sad, because I'm like, they're posting things and like as if it's her posting, and it's like I know it's not her posting because I know what's going on. But Kleinfeld says that everything is going to be fine. As soon as stuff hit the fan, they immediately put something out and was like, our current brides are not going to be affected. And so I'm really hoping that that is still the case. I haven't gotten any other notifications outside of that. I'm sure that if there was any issues, Kleinfeld is at this point, like Kleinfeld doesn't want to tarnish their own name. So I know that like I would have heard something if there's something, crazy going on there. But also I really love my dress. And so I really am praying that I don't have to change anything because it is me in dress form,
It is. Like, there isn't, I mean, there is no other dress.
Yeah, so I'm just like, Lord.
So I just know that means there's gonna be no problems. Like that's what that means. I saw you got your wedding invitation.
Dad,
I'm so excited. It makes it so real, and I feel like 10% guilt, 90% I don't, but I do feel 10% guilt because there are some people that got save the dates that may or may not be getting invitations. And at the end of the day, we're both getting married and it's still COVID. It's still COVID. And my venue is small. My wedding was always going to be small. And I had prefaced with pretty much everybody that I haven't seen frequently that, we're trying to keep this very small, very intimate, no introductions. If you haven't met my fiance, you're not going to be meeting my fiance at our wedding. Like, we want that kind of intimate experience. And now it's just that added element of it has to be small. It's not that we want it to be small. It has to be small. So we had to kind of get cutthroat, and we're like, all right, well, it's been so many years, and yeah, COVID kind of threw a wrench into that. And maybe some people had thought they were going to come and visit and they weren't able to, but then also we've been together for a really long time. And so to kind of like rush in the Hail Mary zone to be invited to the wedding is kind of like, if you really want to see us and spend time with us, you'll understand when it comes to the wedding, and you'll find time, or we'll find time afterwards to kind of catch up and see each other and make those introductions and things like that. But I gotta tell you, when I saw people opening them, I was like, yes, we're getting there, because I think it's like I'm under 130 days. I am somewhere like in the 120s. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean, I think that the invitation process, to be honest, is like probably, I think when I see people opening their invites is when a huge, like, just like a weight gets lifted, because I'm sorry to everyone listening and watching, the whole process of getting everyone's email, everyone's address, addressing all of these invites, like it is a lot. And like my wedding is like, there is no way that I can, even if the wedding itself ends up being smaller than we planned, I still need to send invites to everyone. And my family is huge. Okay, I'm one of 6. Michael's one of 6. My mom is one of 6. My dad is one of a billion. It's there's no way, and everybody has kids and everybody has more than one kid, right? So it's like I have a lot of cousins, my cousins got kids, the family is huge, which is a huge blessing, but at the same time there is no physical way that I could only be sending out X amount of invites. Like, you know, I'm like, if people can't come, people can't come, but like I have to like prepare for a like maximum capacity. And that's like the tough part. So I'm like, this address mission has been a situation. And I'm like, my spreadsheet is almost filled in, and it's so, you just feel so accomplished. And I can't wait for people.
Writer's cramp worth it. You're like, yes, it was all worth it.
It was all worth it.
It really does. It really does.
No, it was so exciting opening it, because it's funny because I saw that Jessie got her invite on Instagram, and then I was like, I saw he always checks the mail because I don't check the mail, and so I like found it in the pile, and I was like, how did this come in the mail and you didn't tell me? Like, what?
Oh, and also, just for anybody listening who did receive an invitation to my wedding, Lauren asked me this. She said, I got your invitation. And I said, okay, did you RSVP? And she said, well, I'm in the wedding. I thought it was kind of, I said, no, go to the link that it tells you to, and please RSVP. I need that information for seating charts, guys. So yes, it's necessary.
Does it have an RSVP by date?
I think that it did. I think it's in April. Yeah. I don't remember the exact date. I don't have one in front of me, but I think it's in April. So yeah.
I don't trust people, so that's gonna be a hard RSVP date. I gave one of the bridesmaids the job of, you own RSVP monitoring.
Yeah. And I have everybody's email, so if I need to, I will fill your inbox with nagging emails just for you to go onto a web page and click a button. I'm gonna do it. I'm about it. Yeah, so as we continue in through wedding season, I'm sure we'll have a lot more goodies to share. I feel like nobody really talks about the ins and outs, like just girlfriends chatting about the whole planning a wedding situation. So if there's any brides listening, like, we're here for you. We're just trying to help you weed through some of these vendors and some of these situations. We are going through the same stressors as you. But bro, did you see what's happening in our city? Like, I feel like everybody's always saying that New York is crazy, and New York, like, oh, we could never live there, it's dangerous, whatever. And I'm like, the media exaggerates, like, this is not the New York City that I know. And then, like, because I thought that, then, you know, you have like the bus that's like halfway hanging off the expressway in the Bronx, 8 people injured. That was like 2 days ago. Then you have that naked man in the subway who pushed a stranger. It's not funny, but it is. Pushed a stranger onto the tracks. A good Samaritan goes onto the tracks to help that person. The naked man obviously was not happy about that. So he was like, no, y'all staying down here. He hops in, hops too far, and lands on the 3rd rail and is electrocuted. That happened. And then there was like shots fired, like on your street.
It was all on the same day, though.
It was like all within like 24 hours of each other.
Something was in the New York air that day.
It's like New York is losing its shit, is losing its mind like the rest of the country.
Yeah, because it's definitely not just New York. I guess we can't say that honestly. We got crazy people feeling like it's necessary to jump over the walls of the Capitol and just come strolling up inside like they own the place. And I'm honestly dumbfounded, not surprised, but just baffled. And also, I wish to embody the level of confidence and audacity that they have within their bodies to feel like are going to just storm the Capitol of the United States and sit at the desks of, you know, the government workers, and just, it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. And the fact that this fool Stump he entices these people, he draws out the worst in people, like, for people to think that they can do these things and there are no repercussions for their actions, it just blows my mind. So like, homie is on his second impeachment.
Yep.
Like,
he can say he is the only president to achieve a second impeachment.
that is true. And he is all about the drama. So he might have, maybe this is what he wanted. I want to go down in history as the only, you know, I'm so gangster that I have 2 impeachments under my belt.
I gotta tell you though, if I were one of the people that was part of that whole coup attempt, that insurrection day, right, I would feel like a complete ass, because then 2 days later, when he finally was talking, he was like, that wasn't okay. I didn't tell you to do that. Violence is never the answer.
He was just saying that because he felt like he had to. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But what blows my mind too, now this story had me, I was actually blown away. The guy who had like the horns and all of that goes to jail and says that he's not gonna eat because I only eat organic food. But let me tell you about the country we live in, honey. Let me tell you about the country we live in, and the fact that after he didn't eat for however many hours or days, whatever, they gave him organic food. Can you explain to me, if I was a Black woman sitting in a jail cell and I requested some gel for my edges? They're gonna give me some gel for my edges. They gave this fool organic food because he requested it. Like, again, back to the confidence and the audacity that is flowing through these people's veins. Like, I want to know what that feels like to just know that you own the world. You know, it just really must be nice.
What really got me though, because I actually was working from home that day, so I obviously, like, I didn't think, I mean, I thought there was gonna be some foolishness, but I didn't think I was gonna be at home able to watch all of it. And first off, I was just like, man, they're just so nice to them. Like, they're just like standing on the other side of this like little barricade, and they're not throwing any pellets, and they're not like using their batons, and there's no peppers, like pepper spray. You had pepper spray. That one woman, she got pepper sprayed really bad, and she was really upset about it.
Oh my gosh, when I tell you that video has been living in my brain rent free for the past few weeks, like living. People will say something to me, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's a revolution. Because the way that she said it, like, duh, like, they're like, well, how did you get pepper sprayed? And she was like, because I was like, they were like, well, why were you doing that? And she's like, because you're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution. Like, duh, like, this is just a given. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Well, that, and then like when I was watching it on CNN, and I'm watching them, they were saying that the police were not equipped to be able to handle this kind of a mob, which sounded really like somebody missed the memo or something, because all summer long the police were fully equipped. And then like, I don't know what happened. And then when they were like storming the Capitol, they were like, here you go, let me open this door for you. To the left is where you want to go. Let's take a selfie. And I was just like, they really aren't equipped to handle this mob. They're taking selfies to save their life. Let's pretend like I'm one of them. And just to be sure that they don't get angry, this one over here looks like the angriest of them all. This olderish woman right here, let me help her down the Capitol stairs, right? So I'm watching all of this, and I was like, yeah, they aren't equipped. But then what really got me was when they said the FBI was reaching out to the public because they needed assistance catching all of these people that had stormed the Capitol. And I was really confused how they lost them in the first place.
Because I can't. Like, no, but we wouldn't have, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't have gotten out of there.
No,
Black and brown people would not have made their way out.
Because when Tamika Mallory was in Kentucky, sitting on the Attorney General's lawn, extremely peacefully with a group of protesters, they were sitting, they weren't even speaking, they were sitting. Every last one of them was arrested. They had wire ties on their hands, and they were all taken to jail. They didn't climb on top of his roof. They didn't throw anything through his window. They didn't come into his house and sit in his Barca lounger. Okay? They sat on his lawn, which is trespassing if it's private property. And they all were arrested and taken to jail. So I think the Capitol is like serious private property. I think that like looking at it is like trespassing.
The reason the police didn't stop it is because the police was a part of this. They were a part of all of this. And when I watched that one video, it's just so funny. The video where the whole crowd is coming up the stairs and there's the one black cop at the top of the stairs. Now, first of all, what I want everybody to realize is that it is being videotaped from multiple angles. There's no, like, this wasn't a coincidence. How did everybody know that this was, like, that whole scene was so orchestrated. Like, no one can tell me that the police were not a part of this. There's many videos of them just simply opening the thing. So, and it's just like, to think that people are stupid, that they think that people are stupid. Ain't nobody stupid around here. The police department was a part of that whole situation.
Well, and I mean, it's come out since then, of course. They've talked to the person who was the organizer of the rally turned insurrection, and he was just dropping names because he's very proud. He I don't think he's a proud boy, but I think that he's just very proud of his position and stance, and he also wants you to know what he knows and that he knows this. And so put a microphone in front of his face, and he was telling all the congressmen and congresswomen that he had already spoken with that seemed to have forgotten his name now. So because how else? Because they interview these people, right? And there's so many congressmen and congresswomen who have already said as well that like they barely remember how to get to their own space. Like they need somebody to remind them, or if they're looking for a fellow congressman or congresswoman, they're like, oh, where do I go? So to come into the Capitol and just know your way around, like we know where we're going.
Yeah.
There's no way that nobody showed you how to get to where you wanted to go. So, I mean, I definitely believe that was a lot more people were involved in that than want to own up to it. Maybe they want to sit there at night when they can't sleep and tell themselves that they had no idea that it was going to go as far as it did. But that's just playing naive. That's all that is playing naive. But I am also like, I was sitting there and I was watching all of this, and I was scrolling through. It was a very quiet work day, so I was scrolling through, and I didn't see a lot of comments about nothing. And it was really weird. I thought that like maybe some people had taken a sick day that day, maybe somebody's TV had broke, maybe your internet had gone out, so like the news hadn't hit you yet. But there were so many people that seemed to have such a strong opinion about violence when it's interwoven with a protest, and how that's not the way. And there's so many people that thought it was disrespectful to kneel in front of a flag, but don't really seem to have a problem with them taking down this flag and putting a Trump flag up, or beating somebody with a flag. You're gonna take this America. Like, this was not really
take this America.
It really wasn't talked about, and I wasn't surprised by it at all. I did not actually expect to get on to my social media and see one person who had nothing but ignorant comments to make about Black Lives Matter protests, about how they were violent, who wanted to focus on the few negative acts and ignore the overall positivity and mission of the protests. I did not expect not a one of those people to actually come out and acknowledge the exact same behavior that they say they don't like in their own.
Of course not. Number one, the word like we label people like that ignorant for a reason. Because ignorance is bliss. You want to act like you're not seeing it, or like you don't have a problem with it, or like you have just somehow forgotten all of the things that you said during the Black Lives Matter protests and conversations. And it just blows me away that people like all of a sudden mum's the word. Like, and at the same time, I'm like, you're probably embarrassed right now and you don't know how to handle your embarrassment. And to each their own, but it's definitely spoke volumes. And I'm just in a way, it's like I'm glad this happened because I just really, the next time that I hear somebody mention Black Lives Matter protests and all of that without sprinkling some respect on it, not respect, respect with a K, sprinkle my respect on the Black Lives Matter protests movement, because I don't want to hear it now. I don't want to hear it now, because like we were walking through the streets, maybe doing a chant or two, minding our business, when the police decided to roll up and scroll up and give all these curfews. The crazy thing was, my favorite part was that I watched many videos during the Black Lives Matter protests where there was a curfew enforced in the cities, and anybody who was outside of those curfews, like there were videos of college students who were like people who went to HBCUs being literally like maced in their own car from the police and electrocuted, pulled out of their car, dragged through the streets because they were out after curfew. But the crazy thing to me was the footage that was happening on the day of the coup. Like it was like the footage was happening after this curfew. So I'm just like, I'm confused as to where all those police officers are now that we're doing all of that crazy foolishness.
Well, because also, when that was going on, I mean, I could look at my watch and I think some of the police officers' watches were fast, because I mean, you just want to bulldoze your car through an entire group of people, and we still got 5 minutes till curfew. We're actually heading in the direction of our home, but we still have 5 minutes till curfew. Maybe we're cutting it close, but curfew's in 5 minutes. Fix your watch, officer. Fix your watch. But here on Insurrection Day, we're 2 hours and I see people on the streets. We're 2 hours into curfew. And I'm just, please, you gotta get home. It's safer at home, Do you need an escort? I can walk you.
It's just wild. And I'm like, but it really is one of those things where I'm like, I'm sorry, as a Black woman in America, like, I'm very glad that they embarrassed themselves to that degree. I'm so glad, because you can't tell me nothing now. Don't come back, don't argue with me back and forth. I'm literally just gonna find the receipts, the Google photos, just gonna find the receipts and send it to you. Do not.
Well, and then what was it? It's like what, 70 million people that voted for Trump or so, and they want to say that not all of those people voted for Trump. Maybe they voted for the Republican Party or whatever it may be. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. You still voted for him. But if I do believe that there are some people that are ignorant. There are people that are obsessed and almost worship him, almost like a cult leader. And there are people that have always been Republican, don't question that, don't do any learning or whatever. And I'm not saying that that's right, but I am hoping, it's because I gotta stay positive. I don't like, because I just, so that I don't like explode from all the negativity in the world. It's just, I would hope that maybe for some of those, nobody ever thought that Lindsey Graham or Mitch McConnell would ever say nay to him, And they saw that and it was kind of like, okay, so we're done. We're done now, because there's really no way to rationalize this. There's not really a way to explain this. Like there's no real way to convince me that you didn't do this, that this happened because of you, that you put people in danger. And being there, I know it could have been much worse, because I have seen what is capable when you unleash your people on another set of people. I think that they maybe even possibly felt just a smidge bit like the protesters are sitting up in their hiding, just wondering like who's gonna come, because Trump's stuck, like sent his dogs out on them, like what is going to happen here. And so if maybe this is like a wake-up call to maybe some of the 70 million that voted for him, then there is a little bit of good that has come out of it. But
they still gonna be quiet.
You voted for him, and this happened, and so I don't know. I just think it's crazy. We have less than 48 hours until he is no longer the president of the United States. And
yes, and my president will be my vice president will be a woman.
Yes. A woman of color.
A Black woman, a Jamaican woman,
yes.
I'm yes, man.
We don't know what shenanigans are going to happen. He's probably going to pardon all of his family. I read something today about him like making some updates to the coronavirus travel restrictions that he had in place that don't even go into effect until like 6 days after he's not president anymore. So there could still be a lot of things that he does. He's like a loaded ticking bomb. Like you don't know what could happen in the next 48 hours. And it's going to be the weirdest inauguration because like nobody can go. Like nobody can go because of COVID, but also nobody can go because it's not safe. Every capital at this point is braced for something.
Yeah.
Because they just don't know. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the next couple of days go just in the United States. I feel like all eyes are on us.
Oh yeah. Everybody is watching like a movie with their popcorn, but I mean, so am I. So the next podcast, I'm sure we'll have some juice to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I don't know. Besides that, I am thankful for Shonda Rhimes right now. Because during all of that, right? Like all that negativity, all of that just tomfoolery, right? And she gave us Bridgerton.
Yes.
And she like
a little gift.
Like I had already kind of was like, Reggae Jean, you and Sylvia, you playing those drums real nice, sir, and Sylvie's love. But then in Bridgerton, I was like, oh, you came into my life at a time when Michael B. Jordan left. So it was like you knew that we needed you right now, Shonda. You knew.
Yeah.
And so
she's an auntie that was just looking out. She was looking out. Yeah. Good looking out, auntie.
So we are actually gonna wrap up. We're doing this new thing where we don't like let you guys in on our endless conversations that last for 3 hours. We're trying to keep it short. Nobody's commute can go as long as we can. So before we do though, one thing new for the How the Hell Is This My Life podcast is shout outs. We spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money and we like
that is the best way to put it. We spend a lot of money. We are consumers.
We are consumers, and we get a lot of kind of positive, sweet feedback on our style or the things that we've tried have made other people want to try them. And so we are all about uplifting others and calling attention to people you should know. Because I feel like a lot of people that we pay attention to, people don't know about them, and I don't know how. I really don't know how. So for this week's podcast, we wanted to shout out who?
Jamila at Fly By Night.
This is actually hers. So I live in sweaters and graphic tees, and so this shirt is actually from her website, and she does graphic tees. I'm waiting. I ordered an athleisure set. I'm waiting for that to come. And she does custom jackets.
Y'all, you don't understand. I've been acting a whole fool, okay? Kiki got me a custom denim jacket that has who on it?
Eartha. Eartha. Oh, and happy birthday, Eartha. Yesterday was your birthday.
It has my girl Eartha on it. And y'all don't know me that well, but I love me some Eartha. Eartha is my spirit animal. I am a cat woman at heart, but also she's just everything. Everything. And now I have a jacket with her on it. So thank you, Kiki. Thank you, Jamila. I'm about to buy all of your stuff. So just make sure it's in stock for me.
She really does. You should check her out. Her Instagram is at shopflybynight, and it's night as in night of
In
honor.
shining armor.
KNIGHT. She got some really fly stuff, and it deserves a lot of hype. We're gonna try and shout somebody out every single podcast. I think we've spent enough money to make that happen. But also, you have anything going on this week? Anything to look out for?
This week I'll be dropping some content, some ootadas, some outfits of the day. Mm-hmm. Yes. There'll be more coming in the future. We got some couples content coming out. It's gonna be funny.
So stay tuned. If you don't already follow our Instagrams, please do. All that info is gonna be in the bio. I did just post a HIIT workout if you're wanting to do something at home and you're not really into the Zoom thing. All the details for it are on the website, and there's some quick little videos to help you if you're not quite sure the terminology, what this exercise move is. But yeah, we're going to be back. This is going to be a routine thing. No falling off the grid. So we will see you when we see you.
Bye.